Hey guys, I had started making a video just a minute ago and I got a phone call. So I got interrupted for a minute, but I'm so glad I didn't go anywhere because I forgot some stuff in the office. So that's nice. So I can go back in, grab what I need, and be done. So I wanted to let you know what I've been doing over the last few weeks, and I think that it will make a lot more sense in coming up weeks. So for example, today I went to a place called Prairie Care, and it's housed inside a hospital. So they have an emergency room here, and lots of different specialty clinics, etc. So that's really great. But their office is about 45 minutes from my house, door to door, minus the traffic. So if you're in the Twin Cities, or if you're even privy to the kind of construction that goes on in the Twin Cities, you would know that it's bananas. It's just sheer bananas. So if there's any place you have to be, leave early, a lot earlier than than you're used to leaving, because it took me a lot longer to get here than I had originally anticipated, and also that meant that I missed my appointment, but I did have the opportunity to reschedule, so that's great. But Prairie Care is in Chanhassen, and Chanhassen is the same city as Paisley Park, which I guess can be kind of cool. But for right now, Prairie Care they have a couple different options. They have inpatient, no, sorry, they don't have inpatient. They only do intense outpatient programs for persons who need it, but that person will also need a psychiatric evaluation. Now, that evaluation is covered by medical assistants / health partners. But before I scheduled that appointment, I also scheduled with the Fraser Evaluation Center in Bloomington to have a psychiatric evaluation, for the purpose of there being a documentation saying that I have a disability. And that would be appropriate for bringing to, let's say, an employer, or the human resources department at an employer, or the law firm. I know it's crazy, but there's a law firm that I called like 2 or 3 years ago, and I said, hey, do you guys do this type of thing? Do you do cases for people with mental health issues? And they said yes. And so we went to trial, and we started this process where we could have a conversation about basically the fight, flight, or freeze reaction to stress that goes on in the workplace. And my husband kind of has been saying, Ange, you got to just get over it. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get out of bed every morning and do your work, do a job. And that seems very easy and super self-explanatory. I mean, how much easier should it get, right? But I guess finding out and really reflecting about my life and what's been my problem throughout the years is I can't keep a job. I haven't been able to take criticism or function well under severe stress. Sometimes I say stuff that I really shouldn't be saying. I'm late all the time. And sometimes when I'm in a situation where I think I'm going to get fired, I just quit because I don't want the letdown. I don't want I self-sabotage. And so what some of the therapists have been saying is that, it comes from early trauma and sort of this failure to launch type of thing. So I digress. A law firm called Greenman Toomey took my case in 2014, 2015. We went to court and we, were pleading our case, and there was a determination that I should be able to do something, not be disabled from the neck down, to be able to do absolutely nothing, which I agree. I just think it's important to have the conversation and then to also have a professional look at the situation and go, okay, until you work this out, X, Y, and Z is going to take some time to work out. Until that is finalized or finished or whatever, you need to be in a treatment facility 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And what employer is going to work with that? What employer is going to accommodate that? And then also, that accommodation probably still won't afford me much of a living wage, aside from my paychecks not being able to pay rent, maybe a phone bill, but it's tough. So this is where I'm at. And I'm sorry that I'm getting so wordy and that this probably seems really self-explanatory, like, all you have to do is get some exercise, get outside, breathe some beautiful fresh air, watch funny movies, engage your brain, meditate, etc. You name it, I've done it. And the thing is that I'm not afraid to learn. I'm not afraid to do the work. In fact, I want to do the work. I want to do what's necessary to figure out what's going on. I'm almost 40, for crying out loud. I get it. But, in order for the law firm, to be able to win their case, I have to have a psychiatric evaluation that says that I have a disability. Also, Health Partners says they will only cover one psychiatric evaluation per year. Going to Prairie Care, they need a psychiatric evaluation. And that will get me into their intense outpatient treatment that will be half a day, twice a week, a long distance away from my home. It's what I gotta do, right? Also, that evaluation that I started, the process that I've started at the Fraser Evaluation Center, is, again, to have that piece of paper to take to work and say, these are the accommodations that I'm going to need. But Health Partners doesn't believe that that is medically necessary. So I'm on the phone with this representative this morning, and I was like, is this call being recorded? Because I'd really love to be able to say to someone, having a mental illness is medically necessary to diagnose, period. And if that means that I have the ability to work, great. If it means I don't have the ability to get stuff done because I'm just too, I don't know, mixed up, focused on other things, or confused incessantly, then I think it makes perfect sense to do it. So for right now, that's where I'm at. Having 2 psychiatric evaluations in a week. Whatever. Having an understanding of what my life is going to look like for the next year in regard to a schedule, you know, going halfway across the world twice a week for an intense, you know, psychotherapy in a group setting. Well, at least I have that. At least I get to have that and understand what's next. So it's not necessarily a necessity to be separated from my child for an extended period of time, as long as the program that I'm working on and working with is going to be supportive and helpful and all of that. But anyway, I just wanted to document my experiences because I feel like sometimes if I pick up the phone and I try to call somebody and tell somebody what's going on, the words escape me. Or I get overwhelmed with thought, or the person on the other end might be busy and have other stuff to do and can't finish the conversation, or whatever. But with this having been a fine time to have the conversation, or just to say what I've needed to say, or what I've just said here, it does feel better. It does feel good to be able to get it off my chest and to be able to say, okay, if you want to know what's been going on, check my YouTube page. Just look at what I've said recently and it will all make sense. Or you can pause it and come back. So